Alright guys, in this video we're going to talk about finding the midpoint of a segment. Okay, so I want to start with kind of what the idea is. What is the midpoint? Okay, so if we have this point A here on a line and a point B on a line, okay, so this is a number line and we want to find the coordinate of this midpoint. So in other words, this is halfway. Midpoint means halfway. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this idea. So we're going to take the coordinate of x1, which we'll call this one, and the coordinate of x2, which is this one. We're going to add those two values together, and then we're going to divide by 2, because that's going to find the average, or the midpoint m. Okay, so we'll do that. Let's use the numbers we have here. We've got x1 equals 4 and x2 equals 12. You might be able to figure that out in your head, that halfway between 4 and 12 is 8. Well, yes, that's true. So let's do it with the formula. All right, so we've got x1 plus x2 over 2 equals x1 is 4 plus x2 is 12. And we're going to divide that by 2. Okay, so 4 plus 12 is 16. Divided by 2 equals 8. So we can actually, we're going to say that's m equals right there. We're going to say m equals on that. And so m equals 8. So this midpoint equals 8. Okay, so that's on a number line. Okay, we can do the same thing to find a point. So this is a straight line, pretty easy to find, right? Because there's no change in y here, it's just one value. So let's go ahead and bring in this here. Okay, we'll put it right there. So we'll do the work over here. So it's the same idea. Well, now we have an x and a y. So we've got point A here at -5, -2, and then we've got point B at at +9, +4. I want to find this midpoint. I don't know exactly where it is, so I can't mark it here yet, but I have an idea. We can do the same thing, only now it's going to be 2 coordinates. So we've got this x1 over plus x2 divided by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Okay, and then just like with the distance formula, we can switch x1 and x2. The order here does not matter. We can switch y1 and y2. The order doesn't matter. Okay, so this might look familiar to you. This midpoint m is a coordinate. So this is the x value. So we'll call that x sub m, because that's the midpoint, and y sub m, because that's the midpoint. So we're going to find this answer that we're going to find is going to be a coordinate, and then we'll plot it. Okay, so let's plug in. Let's do the x1 first. We've got x1 plus x2, so we'll call this m sub x, because we're finding the x value equals x1 plus x2. So x1 is -5, x2 is +9, and we're going to divide that by 2. So -5 plus +9, that's going to give us +4 over 2, which gives us 2. So actually, we're going to call that not m sub x, we'll call that x sub m. So x sub m equals 2. So there's 1/2 of our coordinate. It's going to be 2 right there. And now let's do the same thing for the y. Let's change colors when we do that. Let's be like Khan Academy. So we'll call this y sub m equals y1 plus y2 over 2. Let's substitute the y values. y1 equals -2 plus 4, and that's going to be divided by 2. Okay, so that equals -2 plus 4 is the same as 4 minus 2. That's 2 over 2. So then, let's write that. Y sub m equals 1. So our midpoint coordinate, so our midpoint coordinate is x sub m. So it's xm comma ym, and that equals, the xm is 2 comma 1. So we can find that point here. We're going to go over to 2, 1. Oh, look at that. it crossed the line right there. So that's M, and that's at 2, 1. So that's how we use the midpoint of a segment formula. It's very simple. It's just an average of the 2 x coordinates and an average of the 2 y coordinates that finds us that midpoint. Now we can use that to do a lot of different things. We'll have one more video that we're going to do that will show us how to find an endpoint if we know these other 2 points.